Hey everybody, this is Mazarine Chase of Wildwood Fundraising, and today we're going to talk about how to prepare for a fundraising job interview. So one of the first things that you have to think about is who in this interview is your friend, and how can you do a better job of connecting with them when you're nervous. Because believe it or not, if it's a panel interview, there's somebody in there who's probably not going to like you or not sure about you. And there's going to be one person who helped bring you in who's all like rooting for you secretly. So if it's a recruiter, that's probably that person. But if it's not, then think about who is the friendliest face in the room if you don't really know anybody there, and focus on them if there's a difficult question, such as, why did you leave your last job? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And why do you want to work for us? So all of those have potential to be difficult questions, including, what's your greatest challenge? So those questions are pretty typical. But before you begin, you really just want to get in the zone, get in the I'm going to have an awesome interview zone, and take a deep breath. And you can do this. So you want to come in prepared. You want to look at the 990 of the organization if you're in the US, and you want to check them out on another website if you're in Canada, for example. So if you have a sense of what the organization has done and is going to do, that'll be in the 990 for fundraising, specifically around if their grant income is going up or down, if their event income is going up or down, if they've had leadership transitions in recent years. That'll be in the 990, and you can check all of that out. If you want to find that, go to guidestar.org, and you can look up the nonprofit and do your research before you go. That may also be on their website, and some of that data may also be in their annual report. So it just depends on how organized this nonprofit is. So one of the questions that people often have a problem with is, what is your greatest challenge? And I was actually talking with a friend who had a problem with that in her interview the other day. And she's just like, I don't know if I answered it correctly. And I said, well, here's what you say. You pick a strength in disguise. And I got this tip from Axelrad, who is an excellent, excellent person to talk with about job interviews, because she's done so many of them as a development director of several large San Francisco nonprofits. And the way you answer that is simply think about what's something you like about yourself, and then what's the dark side of that. So for me, I like that I'm a hard worker, but that can backfire if I overwork. And so often in fundraising, that is something that you are asked to do. So you want to definitely tell them that you love working hard, but sometimes you have a tendency to overwork, and you're working to fix that by having things to do outside of work as soon as work is over. You might want to consider telling them about the concept of work your proper hours, for example, and say, look, I love working until the job is done. However, it's not all going to get done in the 8-hour workday, because this job is 3 people's jobs. So I will attempt to, at the beginning of each day or the beginning of each week, talk with my supervisor and ask what the priority is this week, and then focus on that. So that way you'll constantly be keeping the clear communication channels open, and you'll make sure that you don't burn yourself out. So that's how to answer a difficult interview question in a fundraising interview. When you go in, be sure to arrive a couple of minutes early. Don't wear strong scents, not even strong shampoo. Definitely have closed-toed shoes, and it's all about the relationships. And so if you can say that you know some people that they know already, that can really be a help. If you have a story with the organization, tell that story. Don't forget your what, how, wow stories. So your what is what you did, the how is how you did it, and the wow is the result. And in fundraising, we have so many of these, whether it's appeal letters, your first golf event, your big gala that you did, or maybe just grants you received from one year to another and how you can increase those. You may also want to include like numbers of volunteers that you coordinated or recruited, and donors that you engaged to such an extent that they became monthly or major donors. So all of those things are ways to sort of rock the interview. Stay tuned for the next video, where we will talk about other aspects of fundraising interviewing, including the kinds of questions that will be asked in a fundraising job interview.